We are on the road to WrestleMania. This is the High Spot Podcast, HSP. Make sure you follow us here on the Give Us a Shot Network. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of HSP. And if you can't watch us, make sure you listen to us on all podcast platforms. So make sure you download us there. I'm Jeff Martin alongside my tag team partner, the Trendsetter. And we are the Jersey Wrecking Crew talking about Monday Night Raw. And, of course, just a few weeks away from WrestleMania. Follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. We are on the road. Count them on your fingers almost, the days till WrestleMania. Trendsetter, are you excited? Are you ready? As everything now is in full swing into the show of shows.
Dude, this is my favorite time of year. How can I not be excited? Listen, every single year WrestleMania presents new avenues, new chapters in terms of things we're looking forward to. Last year was all about the story. This year, a lot of other areas to be interested in, which we'll dive into later on. But we're talking about Raw specifically. It's building up towards WrestleMania, man. I'm feeling that itch right now because right now we're less than 2 weeks away. You said count it on your fingers, right? We're getting close now. So whatever you're going to present to the audience needs to be done in these 2 weeks. It needs to be done well. And we've talked about it before. Last week, we spoke about Charlotte and Tiffany, and that was on SmackDown. But we're talking about how things just aren't clicking in terms of storylines going into it. But definitely looking forward to see how these last 2 weeks are how they're gonna pan out.
Man, we're getting time to get Raw and time to talk about Monday Night Raw from the Target Center. And it opens up with Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. My, oh my, Io Sky, as she made her way out there. Obviously, I think you know what we're talking about. Io Sky, let's be honest. Everyone talks about Rhea. Everyone talks about Bianca Belair, the muscles, Rhea Ripley, also with the muscles. But Io Sky is low-key, like, right up there. I mean, that was some entrance. Would you say?
I think the crowd liked it. I know you liked it as well. But listen, Io has been the person that has really been overlooked in this storyline standpoint. But again, she's nothing to look over, not only from what she can do in the ring, but obviously that entrance is great as well. Her walking to the ring, listen, you have 3 amazing women in that ring for a contract signing, look like. So listen, no complaints on my end here.
Obviously, Adam Pearce still jet lagged from the tour. Said that Rhea Ripley was from the Judgment Day, which is pretty funny. Hey, we all have our rough patches, don't we? But
she's foreshadowing something. I have no idea.
By all the beautiful women in the ring, I don't blame you, Adam Pearce. You're a better man than me. And then all of a sudden, basically, whatever the fans were angry about, that why is Rhea in this match? I don't like the way she's been put in this match. It just seems kind of like, the Seth Rollins situation with how am I going to make it to WrestleMania? How do I get there? That's what it seems like to me. A very comparable, like, how am I going to get to WrestleMania? What is my story to get there from WrestleMania 38, where basically that was the same thing where Seth, how do I get to Mania? All of my windows are closing. All my doors are closing in my face. How do I get to WrestleMania? And she put herself in the matchup. And Bianca Belair, basically, to the point where she was fed up with Rhea Ripley, is whining that she's like, you know what? Get in the match. I don't care anymore. You know what? Because now it's time to prove to you and everybody else that she is the EST of WWE, and now she just wants to beat Rhea Ripley as well. Like you're saying, Io Sky, very much overlooked. It seems like it's just Rhea and Bianca. Could that be part of the story? I believe it is. But at the end of the day, when you look at this, I just find it very hard to believe that Io Sky is going to walk away the women's champion. Hence why there's a third woman in this matchup. Yes, do I believe that she's as talented? Yes, I think that she's a great performer as well, and I think she deserves to be there. But heading into this, what are the percentages? Because again, we're not going to make predictions. We're not going to book anything yet till our preview show. But what do you think the chances are of her walking away, retaining the women's championship?
Listen, the way they're presenting it right now, they're not very good because you said all the focus has been on Bianca and Rhea. And real quick side note, I applaud Bianca. Listen, she was dressed in black. People were kind of booing her. They're all loving Rhea Ripley. They're all loving mommy, right? Rightfully so. But man, was she speaking some truth, telling her to shut up.
Yeah.
As much as I love Rhea Ripley, just shut up. She's been doing nothing but complaining. She complained when she didn't have the title, and then she wanted it back again from Liv Morgan. She was complaining again around that time as well. Lost the title due to her own fault. She wants to blame Bianca for being a ringside applauding another wrestler. At what point do you care that you're the number one contender is applauding your opponent while you're the champion? Loses it, takes no responsibility for it, blames somebody else, and then winds her way into this match too. Now, again, listen, this triple threat match is going to be amazing regardless any sense of the way. But when you look at it from a storyline standpoint, like Rhea Ripley just literally bitched her way into this match, and so I was so happy. Bianca said, "Shut up! You've complained enough. Just sign the damn contract." Because I was kind of tired of hearing Rhea talk about y'all. You think I'm scared of you? I'm Rhea Bloody Ripley. I mean, it was getting annoying to a certain point. Granted, she's in the match, but it doesn't look good for you. And that's the way they're presenting it right now, where they want the two focal points to be these two individuals who, let's be honest, it's been a WrestleMania match, a dream match for a while that people have talked about wanting to see. We're not going to see the one-on-one match, but having Io in here and now having this triple threat dynamic makes it interesting because, like you said, percentage-wise, it doesn't look good for Io. But with that being said, it also protects whoever ends up becoming victorious because it was never a one-on-one match to begin with. So it created the excitement because Rhea lost. We're like, wow, they're definitely going another direction. Rhea found her way back into the main event spot, or sorry, the women's championship match spot. And so it doesn't look good for Io, but I don't know. I'm not going to count Io out just right now at this moment.
Definitely not, too. And it'll give us a few more weeks to decide where we're going to go about it. But obviously, Io Sky had enough too. She was fed up as well. Drop kicks Rhea Ripley into Bianca Belair. I was surprised that Rhea Ripley didn't come out with a busted nose because she's not protecting her nose. There's been a lot of times where you were like, well, she's either near missed a concussion or a broken nose. Obviously, she had those facial fractures where she put on that mask too. So, man, I was grimacing. I was like, "Damn, Rhea broke something." But I
was
haven't heard
worried about
anything.
Io too. That
Yeah.
springboard drop kick looked like she fell on the back of her neck too. So that was a little concern for Io there.
So they all came out okay, and now it's official. We're getting a triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Io Sky will defend against Rhea and Bianca Belair. I asked, obviously,
Is Rhea becoming kind of annoying to you, unlikable?
yeah. I mean, here's the thing: she's a baby face too, but I don't think the crowd. I think some people are turned off. But I don't think the majority are. I still think that she's still got the support. The boos aren't overwhelming the cheers, so I think they're okay. But you can honestly say that this has kind of been like kind of a heel way. There's a lot of heel tendencies in Rhea's the way she's gone about getting this matchup at WrestleMania, and and the problem is you can either take it as a whiny person, or it could be a rebel who's going against authority and putting herself in these matches. So you either or the way you take it, that's fine. But I think the majority of people are kind of digging the way Rhea's doing because obviously she can do no wrong in some people's eyes. But I do see what you're talking about with Rhea, how she went about this match. Ever since the Liv Morgan, revenge tour, Rhea hasn't been as dominant, you would say. And so I really think that's affected her. And so we'll see. I mean, again, I don't want to make any predictions now, but we'll find out if she is going to come out and be successful and regain that championship. We're still a few weeks away, so we're going to see what happens there. Anything else on Bianca Belair? She comes out, she's getting booed. I'm glad you mentioned that. She's getting booed. Do you think? I think I'll give you my idea. But what do you? Why do you think that Bianca Belair is getting booed? She's been getting booed since for a while now. So what do you think it is? Is it some pushback by the crowd? Obviously, I think she belongs there. But what could be the reason why she's getting the boos?
There's no doubt she belongs there. I think the pushback, in my opinion, is similar to some of the boos you see from Rhea, where she is showing heel-like tendencies, which is not really. I mean, she's known for that, but as a babyface, you think there'd be fewer versions of that when she presents herself on TV, right? But for Bianca, I think just the people are just ready to see a different Bianca. I think from a promotional standpoint, marketing standpoint, having Bianca as a babyface is great. But I think, in my opinion, the audience is tired of it. They want the EST that came from NXT that started as a heel, and you love to hate her because she had the swag and comments about her. Listen, I'll take nothing away from Bianca's athleticism, but sometimes when she comes off talking, to me, it just sounds so cookie cutter. And I'm like, come on. And this is the fine line, I think, unfortunately, where you always see people say that they enjoy being a heel better than a babyface. It's hard to have people like it because eventually they end up hating you. I think that's going on with Bianca right now. Now, a credit to her, she's been on the sidelines, meaning out of the title picture for a while. So now being back in here, she's rightfully earned that opportunity. But I think the crowd's just like, I don't want this Bianca Belair. I want another version. Give me something different because it's getting boring and stale. But add to the fact too that the crowd and the audience just loves Rhea Ripley so much right now that anybody against Rhea is not going to get cheered, regardless of the scenario. Which is why I think EO was implemented in that, because two baby faces theoretically facing one another, you want another factor in here, which like EO was added in. So I think the crowd's getting tired of Bianca personally.
I think that a lot of people still believe that she has something to do with the whole Jade thing. I think that a lot of people still think also too that, hey, you know what, you're Jade's partner, and I don't really think you went as far as you possibly could to find out who did this. I think you just walked out. I don't know if you've checked up on Jade or stuff like that. It's you were tag team champions. You did have a relationship, whether you were the best of friends or not. You do have a history now where you were tag team champions, and I just don't think that the crowd truly believes 100% that it was all Naomi. And she's wearing the black, and she's doing some things where you're like, okay, will eventually go back to her being part of the responsibility for Jade? I'm not sure. I don't think they want it to be that way, but I still do think some of the fans have put two and two together and think some way, somehow, Jade still has something to do with the whole Jade Cargill scenario. Is Jade that over where people do care? I don't know. I think people are finding a tough time believing Bianca's true intentions. So I think that's why I think fans are booing Bianca Belair. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Another women's match too with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Listen, if say what you say about Lyra, but I think that she is a very good in-ring performer, and you put her in with another good in-ring performer in Bayley, and I think you're getting a good match is what you got. And now, even though Bayley comes up short, and I talked about Bayley's booking in the last couple episodes, and I talked about how she's been way too giving, and they have to find a better story or something better for Bayley. But she's become a gatekeeper to some expect. She's become like that measuring stick for these girls, and obviously Lyra's over. Maybe not to the extent of a promo, but she's showing her worth in the ring. Bayley now will team up with Lyra and be put in this gauntlet match on SmackDown, where the winning team, will take on Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. So maybe she gets some kind of redemption and maybe can become a champion at Mania. But I'm just not happy with Bayley's booking. I'm not happy with the direction she's being put in. But I get the fact too that you got to put these girls over. Obviously, Bayley has no issue whatsoever. But could you see an aspect where Bayley comes out with Lyra and they challenge Liv and Raquel? Or do you just see as Bayley not being on the Mania card? Because at first it was going to be Bayley and Roxanne. I don't know where Roxanne is. She's MIA. She's back in NXT. She was on the main roster for a little bit. They were leading to a Bayley Roxanne feud. That looks like it was dead. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there any light at the end of the tunnel for Bayley? Because what a turnaround it's been from last year's WrestleMania to now, where she might not even be on the card this year. And to Lyra Valkyrie, they had a good match, but do you see potential in Lyra?
I definitely see potential in her because of her in-ring ability. Now, if you're talking about, listen, she gets a response when she makes her entrance. People are reacting to it, so there's something there. But I wouldn't say that her ability, and again, I'll go back to what I said with Bianca, it's so cooker cutty in terms of, oh, I want to be a fighting champion. And listen, maybe that works in a lot of respects to certain people, depending on your audience, right? But for me, there's no genuineness when I hear something like that happens because it sounds so rehearsed. It sounds so made up, or like nobody would really speak that way. Or if you do it in your own way where it sounds believable. So from an in-ring standpoint, she's a great performer. She's proven that when she was in NXT. She's proven that here on the main roster. With Bayley, though, the interesting aspect with Bayley is that, like you said too, like, is there light at the end of the tunnel? I believe so. The manner in which they're booking her is not showcasing that as well. But in her to be part of WrestleMania, you just talked about the gauntlet match, which could lead to her possibly, getting a title shot or a tag team title shot there. I think there's still some underlying tension that they're building in between it. Like, say it after the match, after the women's IC title match, Bayley doesn't want to shake her hand, shows this again heelish tendency of the old Bayley that we know and love, right, Jeff? And thinks better of it, walks back in, shakes her hand, raises her hand. But we're seeing these little Easter eggs, as they call it, right? Where, like, I don't know, let me ask you the question. If they were to turn the direction now after Bayley has had, I would say from last year's WrestleMania to now, approaching, 41, has been a babyface. Her version of the babyface, no longer the hugging, Bayley, the hands up in the air type of thing. If she were to turn heel, would that help via Valkyrie, or would that just help
Lyra,
her care? Yeah,
Lyra.
yeah. Would that help her, Bayley? I mean, would it help her character, or is it just like, why are we turning her heel right now? Do you want her continue as a babyface?
Ooh, good question.
Because
She really killed it. She really killed it as a heel when she did turn, and it was unexpected as well. And it was this whole different Bayley. So I would say for now, just keep the baby face, but she just needs to get, I guess, needs to get in the win column a little bit more for now, then see how it goes. Because I'll be honest with you, the Minnesota crowd, I saw the replay. Someone actually posted on X, no response for Bayley, which was shocking, which is weird. I have to go back to. I did go see it, and I was a little bit surprised. So, yeah, like I would just try to get her on a roll before I try to change her character, because again, that heel turn that she did, she's very successful at it. And then you got to put with the baby faces that are on that show. Maybe a heel Bayley at the end of the day would be an idea, but would I pull the trigger on it now? Not yet. I would give it at least a little bit to see if she can pile up wins as a babyface. But you do see her kind of as a gatekeeper right now, right?
Oh, that's the way they're booking her, definitely,
Yeah.
100%. And listen, it's Bayley's. What can I say? It's the you enjoy the fruit of your labor when you're a heel, and now this, it's like, okay, now you got to give back. But I really feel right now the underlining thing that I'm getting is that I think it's going to be an IC title match. We're going to get a rematch of this, possibly at WrestleMania. I just think that's what we're leading to,
Wow.
because you can't tell me you can't have an IC title match, especially a new title for the women's IC title at WrestleMania. Let's see if that happens.
And you talk about it too, like the US Championship is not going to be on
Yeah,
there either. You tell me Chelsea Green doesn't deserve to be at WrestleMania this year after the performance? She's been the MVP for women on SmackDown. You could say that.
100%. Yeah.
So we'll see as a gauntlet match on SmackDown will take place where Lyra and Bayley will be tag team partners, and they'll get a chance to go on to WrestleMania, get a WrestleMania moment, take on Liv Morgan and Raquel, the MVP of Raw, which is Liv. El Grande Americano. We talked about how I feel about Chad Gable. I did not like this as far as a comedic standpoint, but it seems like everything they give Chad, he's willing to take on, and he does a great job with it. He's doing a great job with this. Yeah, I love the Gulf of America. I love all the AI stuff. I love what they're doing. I love the controversy. I love the heat that he's garnering. Why is there heat? I don't understand why people take it so seriously and get butthurt by a character. It's not. I don't believe it's a knock on Lucha Libre. I think it's just in a funny way, I think it's a compliment of it. They're actually doing more stuff with Mexican wrestlers right now than I've ever seen in a long time. So they're portraying an American character as a luchador. I mean, what's wrong with that? But at the end of the day, Chad Gable is going to WrestleMania because Rey Mysterio Jr. I can't believe I've never said that before in my life.
Wow.
And I said Rey Mysterio Jr. I don't know. Anyway, Rey Mysterio is going to get his WrestleMania match. Yeah, it's so funny too because I think somebody was saying, "Oh, Rey Mysterio."
Let me correct you for a second there, Jeff. Not Chad Gable's not going to WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, it's an assumption.
El Grande Americano, he's going to
Sucks
WrestleMania.
that Chad Gable is not going to WrestleMania, and El Grande Americano can. He's only been there just like 6 weeks, and he goes. Unbelievable. But anyway, Rey Mysterio will take on El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. Chad just gets screwed again. Last year, he would have been great for him to walk out as IC champion, the underdog story. And this year, it doesn't even sniff WrestleMania once again.
Listen, man,
The injustice. The injustice.
It's the injustice. I didn't think I would like this storyline very much. I thought I was similar to you. I was feeling that, I want to see Chad be showcased here for the talent that he is. We talked about, I felt like last year was his moment too with Gunther. It wasn't necessarily for Sammy, but I was happy for Sammy regardless. But again, it just showcases the talent, the reason why they signed him to an extension. Like, this guy can really make anything work, and that's just a testament to him, his professionalism, what they're doing with American Made, because it's kind of running stale a little bit. So this different era, this aura of him, I feel works. It does, as ridiculous as it is, it works. You know why? Because it's causing us to talk about it. We chuckle about it. You see the commentator, Michael Cole, he's giggling all over this. It's hilarious. And for the people who are offended by it, I just find it hilarious because if we're going to have the scenario we talked about last week, Jeff, right, about the possibility of having, and Rey Mysterio and many others have talked about this too, wanting to have, we just had 2 weeks in Europe, the possibility of having WWE have a PLE, premium live event, in Mexico City, in Mexico, it just makes sense, right? And so you're doing this to build it up, like you said, the luchadors, the lucha libre style, poke fun of it a little bit, but at the same time, you have a heater in Chad Gable, or sorry, El Grande Americano, who's causing people to want him to lose so badly that it works. It just works. And again, credit to Chad Gable for that too. I never thought we'd be sitting here talking about. I was like, I can't wait till this is over. It's such an idiotic idea. It works, man. It really does.
Wait a minute, Chad Gable, where does he come in?
Because he discovered him. He went to Mexico, found the mask, and then found the man. And
That's right. That's right. It all goes back to Chad. So in spirit, he'll be at WrestleMania, and again, it's going to be Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. Good job by both, and obviously, we'll see if there's any stipulations to it. There should be a stipulation. It should be a mask versus mask. And then we get over this Grande Americano shtick and give Chad something better to do. But it's working, though. He's getting over. Whether it's heat or no heat, he is very popular right now. And I was a little bit wrong because this gimmick is working for El Grande Americano, whoever he may be. I don't know who it is. Jey Uso, man, this feud is taking a turn for the good. We were talking about how are you going to get these guys in the ring, promo after promo in ring for the next, after Royal Rumble, for the next, God knows how many weeks, 10 weeks, 9 weeks. How are we going to make this not be fresh and not dull? Well, we're getting to the point where it's getting dull. And I'm so glad that they interjected Jimmy Uso into this, getting that brother aspect, making it really personal. And to see Gunther take it to that next level and just have the blood on his body and actually even taste Jimmy's blood, which I'm not a fan of that, but I don't know how they got away with that either. That's what I like to hear, how they let that one go by. And then Jey Uso being zip tied. Are zip ties that strong, dude? No?
They're not that strong.
They couldn't go to Handcuffs Are Us or anything like that. They were in New York City. You would say they were a leader in handcuffs, and they couldn't get any handcuffs. They couldn't go to Handcuffs Are Us, which is like around 34th Street, and they couldn't get it for the show. So zip ties are Jey Uso's kryptonite, I believe. So the idea is good. Now he's got to stick up for his brother, and when you make it and add family and then make it about family, it gets personal. So we have Gunther coming in doing his best Pee Wee Herman shtick. He looked like Pee Wee, dude. That was pretty funny though. Like a gray and what? I mean, it just looked really off. I don't know what they were doing there, but he was walking with a grin on his face, like I did the best thing ever. And Jey Uso comes out, no color, all black, all serious. Gives one of his best promos. And you see Gunther here with this facial expression like, oh, crap, I'm fucked. And I'm surprised. And he's good facials by Gunther. He actually showed remorse. Do you think it was more remorse or regret that he unleashed this Jey Uso? But at the end of the day, Jey Uso, he's going to get Gunther. He's going to get Gunther at WrestleMania. Basically, obviously, it looked like Gunther was regretting what he did. But, I mean, I like this. Jey Uso is finally showing that promo that's gonna. How is Jay's promo going to sell me to watch this match? And he did it this past Monday in Minneapolis. I think he delivered his best promo, and I think it was effective. And I'm looking forward to this match now. I wouldn't have been able to say this 2 weeks ago, but I'm actually looking forward to this match.
Listen, first of all, I want to talk about Gunther, though. You think for a guy who presents himself as the world's champion, you think you would have a suit that fit better than that. You're right. He had the Pee Wee Herman shtick going. I was like, man, that shirt is not doing Gunther any favors whatsoever. Maybe it was when he was Walter. He should have worn that shirt. That's how bad it looked on him. But you're right, doing the shtick where he's this arrogant. And it's funny in terms of the evolution of Gunther, Jeff, where when he first became world champion, he had this aura about him because even though he lost the Intercontinental title, being the world champion just seemed like the natural progression for him, right? And then when he lost to Cody at Crown Jewel, there is this level of now insecurity we hadn't seen with Gunther, and then he had the whole storyline with Damian Priest, and it looked like he was doubting himself, like he didn't look invincible anymore. He's getting that back now in more a demonic way in terms of what he did to Jimmy, and brothers always being the sacrificial lamb for Jay, right? Good story there. I don't think that was real blood, to be honest with you, but again, it's better than anything that in terms of what we normally see. It's not something that always happens on Raw or WWE television. So it is unique in that way, right? We've seen it before other places, but not necessarily on Raw. So that worked. I think right now they had to go this route because the way it was going, where Jay was the underdog, I don't think that was working for him as much as everyone complaining that he had lost 2 weeks prior to him on Saturday Night's Main Event, did the whole Rumble thing, and then saying that he was afraid of him, he was unsure of himself. Let's be honest, for a guy who calls himself Main Event Jay Uso, for him to say things like that, I don't know how it could have convinced me as an audience member. Yes, you are the underdog, even though you're Main Event Jay Uso, but you should have some level of confidence. And it takes the fact that your brother has to be beaten to a bloody pulp, where your family, your mom, is literally blaming you and you're blaming yourself for what happened in front of you, to take it to that level for you to give me this promo. Listen, I understand the significance of it. I thought it was a good promo. I don't think it was a great one where I was like, oh my God, this is the promo that makes Jay Uso. No, because it finally showcased the fact that he's not afraid of Gunther anymore. Okay. It took that point for you to feel that way. It took that length for you to get it. All right, maybe not my cup of tea in terms of story, but it's helped it. I don't think from where they started with this after the Rumble to now, it's going to get any better than this. It's improved it. I'm still looking forward to the match, but I just think this promo, I don't see it from other people's perspective, where I hear other people just say, oh my God, this is the promo that makes Jay Uso, Main Event Jay Uso. Now I know he's going to.
It's going to be the match. It's going to be the match because now you want to see it. So now people have expectations for this match, so they're going to see it. So I think the real proven point is going to be at WrestleMania itself. And he obviously told Gunther, you know what, Gunther? I ain't afraid of you no more. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Where'd you hear that from? So where'd you hear that from, Justin?
Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone.
There you go. I can't get anything past you. And then bringing in Gunther's kid and wife and kiss him before. I'm telling you, man, when you make it personal and you can pull it off and you make it in the realism there, it always adds to a feud. When you can find that little touch of like, oh, that reality, right? I think that's what makes the feud. And I think, like you said, the proving point will be Jey Uso and Gunther at WrestleMania, and we'll see how they finish it off. We'll see how they finish this match. War Raiders and the New Day. New Day wins by DQ. I don't know if this matchup is going to be a WrestleMania match because it just left you with like, okay, what's next here? What's going to happen? The New Day, it started off really good when the whole turning on Big E in that promo, and then every other week you saw the progression of then just being ostracized by the locker room. But now to me, it's just like, okay, what's next? What are we going to do? It's just been such a slow build here. And I think at the end of the day, they want to get them a heel title run. I think that's what's going to happen eventually, but it's just been really slow. I don't know if just this whole WrestleMania season has kind of sidetracked the New Day's heel turn, but to have it so soon, or have it so close to WrestleMania now that I don't think anybody's really paid attention to this here. Do you think the intention is for them to have a heel run as a tag team? And just the placement of this was just like kind of weird. I'm like, all right, we're gonna have this now with 2 weeks to go. Do you think that the placement's kind of weird? And could this be a WrestleMania match? It's a weird one too, though.
Where to begin, Jeff? Listen, as much as we give praise to WWE, and I think they've been on fire ever since last year's WrestleMania, and of course there have been certain things here and there that we can always nitpick that could be better, right? But the one thing has been a constant frustration for me that I thought would honestly improve under this new regime would be the tag team division. And I'm just sorry. It's not. I'll give it time. I'll still be hopeful, right? But right now, this current division in the Raw roster just doesn't do anything for me. I'm happy for the War Raiders as champion. I was hoping that what you said too, when this new version of New Day, when they finally kicked out Big E from the group and went on their own, like they had heat. Like they couldn't get a word out edgewise. They were getting booed out of the building. I'm like, great, let's capitalize off this. And then nothing happened. And I feel like they've lost so much momentum where it's not like the crowd sees them like, whatever. They had their moment. We haven't seen them on TV for a while. I'm
They're
sure they're
so
on the house
good.
shows.
It was so good to the lead up and
Yeah.
then following that, and it just kind of like fizzled away.
And that's what this division's been, is fizzling away. So I don't think we're going to see a tag team title match, whether it be on Raw or SmackDown at WrestleMania. I just feel this could be, again, something that's probably going to be on the Raw after WrestleMania type of thing. I just
Or
feel
the
like right now,
SmackDown before Mania, probably.
the SmackDown before Mania, I just feel like it's just not in its place. You would think in a 2-night card event, you would have an opportunity to showcase tag team wrestling. That hasn't been the case. Still not the case for me. So I don't see anything for this happening towards WrestleMania. Like you said, go home shows or after WrestleMania. We'll discuss this further, but I don't think
And
it's
for
going
those and for those people that are trying to be smart ass and be like, well, wait a minute, there's no way you can have the Raw tag team titles defended on SmackDown. Oh, you know what? They don't believe in the draft, so they could have anything they want to. So we'll see what happens. But maybe after WrestleMania they have this. But the placement of this one, I don't know. It kind of took away from other stuff that could have been on here.
It felt like a place filler. That's what it did. It felt like a place filler.
And there should be no place fillers here because you're 2 weeks away from the show of shows. All right, Penta and Dominic Mysterio. Penta gets the win, but then the main point is, though, to showcase all the 4 competitors because earlier on, confirmed by Adam Pearce, it's going to be a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be Penta against Braun Breaker, against Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio, all for Braun Breaker's championship. The IC championship is on the line. I like it. I think all these guys are deserving to be in this matchup, so that's not the question. And I think Penta's going to be involved in this one, and it's great for him. I mean, he's had a really great run since he's gotten here, and to have a WrestleMania match just from the get-go is good for him, good for Mexican wrestling. We saw his brother Rey Fenix debut on SmackDown, very positive outlook too. We'll see if he gets involved too somewhere in a matchup for the SmackDown side for WrestleMania. We'll see what happens there. But I like this matchup. It looks really good. You showcased everybody. Finn Balor got the last laugh, and everybody has a case to walk away or retain the championship. I think Braun should keep it because he's on the streak. There's an amazing spear that almost killed Carlito. I think he posted too, like RIP, the funeral services are, somewhere, whatever. So great for Carlito to have to poke fun about it. But Braun Breaker's got the best spear I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's got this acceleration and the impact is amazing. It's great for the camera work. I mean, I wonder how many times that clip has been watched by. I mean, that's just impressive athlete is Braun Breaker. Finn Balor is again the guy that's been there a long time, hasn't had a title in years, and he could possibly win it and maybe break up the Judgment Day. Or Dominic Mysterio could finally get an IC title, have Dirty Dom and Liv as champions too. That would be great. That would be a great pairing there. And then again, Penta winning the championship, making that case, having a great run the first few months, being on a new on a new company too. So there's a lot of ways you can go with this. There's a lot of ways you can go with this one. So we'll see what happens there. Again, Penta is just rolling along, chugging along. So we'll see what happens. And then obviously chugging along. I love it.
Wait! But you can't just bypass. I gotta talk about this for a second. I am so happy, Jeff. You have no idea how happy I am to see the Intercontinental title showcase.
Oh my God! Yes,
it's been so
yes.
long because before it used to be that the IC title or the United States title wouldn't be talked about. Wouldn't it be the IC title or the IC champ or the United States champ would be in a battle royal match opening up WrestleMania. I am so happy for all the individuals. Braun Breaker, dude, he is a star. He is a star in the making. He's not even reached the potential. I mean, that Steiner brother DNA, unbelievable, man, in terms of the genetics, dude. It's ridiculous, right? So happy for Penta. Happy for Finn. for a guy, like you said, it's been a veteran, it's been in this industry for a while, been part of the WWE for a long period of time, to be showcased here is great. And I'm so happy for Dominic too. That mullet, man, has gotten him to where he is. Liv Morgan has something to do with it, I guess, right? But it's so cool to be in this scenario because, again, that's another storyline, which we'll talk about once we start dissecting and give our predictions, that a lot of people need to look at, right? You know, the whole thing is going on Judgment Day. Do they want a new member? Finn trying to be the leader, but looks like he's being undermined by other members here. And, you know, that lovable the girl we love so much, Liv Morgan, is stirring it. And we love it when she stirs things, right? Especially from the angles that she shows us. And it's great to watch this. But I'm so happy, Jeff, that the IC title is being showcased the way it deserves to be.
It's a great point, John. So the IC title definitely is going to get to be showcased at WrestleMania Fatal 4-Way match. And then obviously what we all wanted to see was Paul Heyman in the middle of the ring addressing his decision to accept CM Punk's the favor and be by his side. And then Seth Rollins comes out. Seth Rollins, probably a great promo as well, really made some great points about Paul Heyman and how Roman Reigns doesn't care about Paul and how CM Punk doesn't care about Paul. Gave him a lot to think about, a lot to digest in that promo. And then you started to see this Seth Rollins, which I love. It's this kind of guy who's like ruthless and was his calm demeanor at first. He was going to take Paul out. He was going to do them a favor and take him out so that he wouldn't have to, make such a crazy decision and not be involved. And just seeing his slow movements, the way he was talking, the inner conflict within him, just all this stuff that's just building up. And it's been tremendous. And this is a good promo by Seth. And Paul did a great job. CM Punk comes running down to protect Paul, who's going to get curb stomped. And then they get a little bit of a brawl on the outside. Then Seth Rollins gets to curb stomp Punk. Then as Paul Heyman goes to look at his boy, CM Punk, he almost gets curb stomped. But Seth Rollins stops, saves Paul Heyman from what would have been a devastating curb stomp that might have taken him out for God knows how long. And then he says to Paul, now you owe me a favor. Okay. Lots to digest here, but this is kind of going back to now where they're giving you a little opening of the door of the possibility of Seth Rollins, because we saw Seth in the background last time on SmackDown. He was just laughing at the whole situation, but now Seth is involved. And if there's a favor to be had, what is that favor? Can you really cash in a favor for not beating you up? Can I say, hey, Jensen, I'm not going to beat you up, but you owe me a favor for that? That's what it looks like. So a lot of layers now as we head into WrestleMania for this triple threat match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Where will Paul Heyman go? And boy, they're really pushing us to think that he's going to go with Seth. That would be a great way to change things up. Will he go to Seth? We'll find out in a few weeks, but they opened up that door. They opened up Pandora's box to make us think that there's a possibility that Paul Heyman walks away with Seth Rollins.
This is where I will give credit where credit is due. To steal, coin a phrase from a legend. When you think we have all the answers, they change all the questions. And it's done beautifully. Listen, the whole central theme or the underlining theme of this entire thing that's been between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns has been loyalty. That's what we've been hearing for the last couple of weeks, Jeff. Loyalty, right? Who's loyal to who? Who's loyal to this company? Who is looking out for themselves, right? And listen, Seth hit every point. Similar when I talk about CM Punk, right? Stop me when I'm telling lies, because every single thing he said made sense, was true. It really was. Roman Reigns doesn't really showcase the fact that he cares about his Wiseman. And we've talked about it before. When Paul was no longer there, when he was taken out and Roman came back, Roman, the tribal chief, looked lost because he didn't have his Wiseman to kind of give him that information that he needed. So we saw vulnerability from the tribal chief. CM Punk coming back to Seth's point and really not doing favors for a friend, because CM Punk wasn't the first choice. It was Seth Rollins to join the bloodline at War Games to create. So he wasn't the first choice. And when Paul was desperate, he even said he was desperate, he reached out to CM Punk. So it kind of showcased the fact that Paul CM Punk wasn't his first option. And then instead of CM Punk being a good friend and caring about him, seeing a friend in need, needing help, said, Okay, I'll do this for you, but then after you owe me a favor. Okay, what kind of friend is that? Do
Yeah.
we as friends do things for the goodness of our heart, or we do it to get something in return? So Seth hit every point there and had the manipulator of all manipulators, Paul Heyman, start questioning these things. And it's great. And listen, you want to talk about facial expressions and body language. I think if anybody wants a 101 class of how to do it, just look at Paul Heyman and how he does it. He just does it better than anybody I've ever seen. One small thing, like when Roman Reigns was gone and he was dealing with his new bloodline, he hadn't slept in days. His hair was white. He
Yeah.
had bloodshot. He 100% goes into these roles, and you saw him questioning his facial features. This too, so this puts a whole other wrench in this storyline. It's great from a match standpoint in terms of these three amazing future Hall of Famers going one-on-one in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. But now it's going to be who's going to be the top guy. For Roman Reigns, we know his reasons. We know CM Punk's reasons. And for Seth, he has two enemies. And how do you take out both your enemies? As we love watching The Godfather, right? Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. And this is now how we got dissect this when we dissect this card. Has so many opportunities here. I
Yeah.
can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah. The pieces of the puzzle. It's our turn now to try to put them together by the time we get to our preview show and give you our predictions of WrestleMania and who's going to come out victorious. But now there's really a good reason to be excited about this triple threat match. Obviously, the star power is there, but now the again, this is bigger than any championship. This is for the chance to walk out with Paul Heyman, the Wiseman, the advocate, whatever you want to call him. But this is bigger than the WWE Championship, than the Undisputed Championship. This is a chance to walk away with the Wiseman. All
I
right,
think
Trent.
it's more than the wise man, though. Just to be honest, Jeff. I think it has to do with the soul of WWE. Who's going to be the face or the leader of WWE going forward. And I think it's between these three guys. They so badly want it and destroy the other. So Paul is an integral part, but I don't know if, for me personally, he's the focal point of it.
So even though you guys might not think that this WrestleMania is going to be as good as last year's, there could be a lot of different storylines that are going to just leave you shocked and have you definitely talking about a lot of things. So while the card may not be to what it was last year, the stories though could really leave you with your mouth wide open on Saturday and Sunday. So we'll wait to see about that. All right, Trendsetter, how do you watch HSP if I can't? I'm at my office. I don't have a chance to. Well, put on those headphones, those wireless headphones, or even the whatever kind of headphones you have, and we're on podcast platforms. Download the show, subscribe. We're on all major podcast platforms. If you want to interact with the crew, want to interact with the Jersey Wrecking crew, if you want to interact with HSP, follow us on all our social media platforms at High Spot Podcast. And then again, too, we're available right here on the Give Us a Shot Network. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any episodes of HSP as we are on the road to WrestleMania. Guys, I'm going to do like a Mean Gene thing. We are getting close. Call your cable provider and say, I want to be part of this grand spectacle, the granddad of them all, WrestleMania. No, you want to be a avid watcher now of HSP as we're winding down, as we're heading now to WrestleMania, and we're just again getting single digits now, almost this exciting time here in wrestling. Again, we'll be back here, so make sure you download the show, hit that notification bell here on Give a Shot Network. Trendsetter, close this episode as only you do so well.
Speaking of shot, Jeff shot right now, and I'll take it home for you guys as we're on the road to WrestleMania. Guys, it's a labor of love. It really is. We love doing this, especially around this season. I don't care how tired I am. I love talking about this kind of stuff with Jeff because as exhausted as we are, it never gets old and it's always changing. So, guys, thank you so much for my tag team partner, Jeff Martin. I am the trendsetter, Brian Berger. We are the Jersey Wrecking Crew, and you're watching this episode of High Spot Podcast. Make sure you catch us next time. Every day is a step closer to WrestleMania, guys, because we do this for one reason and one reason only. We do this for you,
the crew.